All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So this video tutorial series started out as applying compression, right? And then we're going to move on to intro to mix. But here's what I want to do. I decided this is going to be a mini intro to mix project, okay? It's going to be a mini intro to mix project. I've never done this before. Usually I introduce you to EQ compression, and then in the regular mix project, I introduce you to all of the plugins, the other plugins. But I thought to myself, why not? We got this little acoustic demo here, so let's spend some time just fooling around in here before we move on to the big boy projects. Okay, so I want to introduce you to some other plugins. So let's start with Reverb. Usually with a song like this, there would be something called Reverb, and we're gonna pull the Reverb up. So we're gonna select the lead vocal, and once we have that selected, we're gonna go down to our effects plugins window. See where it says compressor? Under it, there's a little slot. See it? See how when I move my mouse, it grays out or it gets darker? If you click on that little slot, you can pull up more plugins. So we're gonna stack a plugin here. We're gonna go to Reverb. Once you get to this Reverb slot, you're gonna go there. Now there's a couple different reverbs in here. There's 4 different ones. We're gonna go down to Space Designer. Go to mono, click on that. Boom, here you have it. This is a reverb. Okay, so what reverb does is it gives you that big hallway effect, or like when you're singing in the shower and you hear all that some people would call it echo. It's not echo, it's reverb, that shower room, or if you're in a locker room and you sing and all that reverberation is just bouncing around. It sounds great, right? So that's what this is. This gives you that effect. So I'm gonna mute this vocal. I'm sorry, I'm gonna solo the vocal, right? So lead vocal, I'm gonna go to this S, which is solo. I'm gonna click on that, and we have a reverb open. And I'm gonna explain to you what these functions do so that you know how to use reverb correctly. But let's just hit play real quick. I'm gonna hit play. Listen. I know that we all make mistakes. See? Sounds like he's in a big hallway or in a shower in a big church somewhere. Now you can control how much of that you're giving him. So if we listen to, I'm gonna unsolo the track. If we listen to this all together, you're going to hear it in context. Now, there's too much reverb on his voice, but listen. I know that we all make mistakes. But it sure as hell sounds interesting, right? Even though there's a lot of reverb on there, still sounds interesting. So let's go back to the vocal and let's solo it. I'm going to go here to the vocal. We're going to click solo. Okay. Now, wet is going to be, see this slot right here? Wet is going to be how much reverb you're giving the track. So the more decibels, the more reverb, and down the less decibels. See where it says mute? So this is basically muted. So I want to show you what this is going to do, okay? What this wet fader is going to do. I'm going to hit play, and then I'm going to move this fader up and down. Listen. I know that we all make mistakes, but let's go away. See how it just gives it more reverb and more. So this was at 25. So let's put this at minus 25. Now this dry slot is going to be how much of the vocal signal you're sending to the reverb plugin. So what's happening is the vocal signal is going into the reverb through this dry fader, and it's coming out of the reverb through this wet fader. Now let's listen to what happens if we start this dry fader. I'm going to bring it all the way down to mute. I'm going to hit play, and when I hit play, basically the only thing you're going to hear is just the reverb. If that doesn't make sense, it should make sense here in a minute. So I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to grab this fader and drag it up slowly, and you'll hear how the voice will get stronger and the reverb will become It will stay the same, but it will feel like the reverb is getting lower. It's actually not. It's because I'm bringing the vocal signal in. So let's listen.
But let's not let love go to waste. With you by my side, I know.
See how once this fader was up here, you could hear the vocal really clearly, and once it was way down, all you could hear was the reverb. This is good because you can kind of gauge how much you're feeding, how much of the reverb you're feeding into the actual signal. So I'm going to take this drive fader and I'm going to bring it to, let's say, minus 2.2. That's just what I'm going to do. Anyway, pause the video here. Go check that out, what I just showed you. Go listen to the vocal with just the wet fader and then the dry fader, and then blend them, because you have to blend these together, right? So spend some time just playing around with that and then come back. All right, guys, welcome back. So let me go ahead and break down to you these here, these knobs and what the functions and what they do. So if we were to hit play, see this pre-delay? This pre-delay means how quickly the reverb plugin is going to react to the signal, much like attack, right? So think of this as attack, this pre-delay slot. Now, again, I'm going to hit play and I'm going to move this around, and you're going to see that the higher this number goes, the higher the milliseconds go, the more time it's going to take for the reverb to kick into the vocal. Okay, so let's listen.
I know that we all make mistakes, but let's not let love go to waste. With you by my side.
See that? Notice that as the number went up, it delayed the response. So I'm going to bring this knob back down to 0. Okay, I'm going to play the vocal at 0. Here's what it would sound like with the pre-delay at 0.
I know that we all.
Okay, now I'm going to take this pre-delay and I'm going to take it up to 200 milliseconds. And I'm going to hit play.
I know that we all make mistakes, but let's not let.
Notice that at 200 milliseconds, the reverb there's a delay in the response. If I take this pre-delay up to 700, just to be dramatic and show you the difference, let's hit play.
I know that we all make mistakes.
See, it's like the vocal is way behind, the reverb is way behind the vocal. So again, here it is a 0.
I know that we all make mistakes.
That's the reverb attacking the signal immediately. And then here it is at 500, just so you can hear the difference.
I know that we all.
See what I'm saying? So that's what that does. That's what the pre-delay does. It's basically like an attack. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I don't even touch the pre-delay. I just leave it at whatever the factory setting is. But this is something that you want to go listen to, because you can make it sound really cool. You can give it a really cool effect. Length is going to be how long the reverb is going to last. So this is like the release, basically. In a minute, the video is gonna end, the tutorial is gonna end, and I want you to go mess around with this, okay? So you can check out what that's gonna do. And then size is just gonna give you size of the room. You want a smaller room, you want a bigger room. This X over basically means a crossover. This is how smoothly the reverb is going to work or react, right? And of course, basically this is based on, now you can change the frequency of the reverb, can be changed here. All right, and it's all based on the crossover or a crossfade. And this is not a big deal. I normally leave this just at 710. I don't really mess with this too much. Your low spread, I usually keep low, is obviously a frequency, right? So Low end frequency, I usually keep this at about 50, and high, depending on the situation. Sometimes I mainly leave it at 100%. Anyway, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in a second and just experiment with this reverb on this vocal. Experiment with it a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna blend this into the song to make it make more sense. All right. Anyway, have fun doing that, guys, and then come back for another video. Thank you.